DJ here for you on Rise and Shine, and I'm excited because on the other end of the Zoom line, I have producer extraordinaire Ken Carpenter of a film that I was surprised by. The film is called Surprised by Oxford, and we're going to get into it. But welcome to the show, Ken.
Thank you, DJ. Great to be with you today.
Now, where are you zooming us from?
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, in the United States of America.
Okay. So beautiful Nashville. Now, people are going to be saying, Surprised by Oxford. I have no idea what this film is. And I, being a massive C.S. Lewis fanboy, someone who is, I think in my spiritual life, I think there's only a couple people that have, would equal the influence they've had on me as C.S. Lewis. Yeah. So straight away I was like, Oxford, okay, surprised by joy. Is this something? And I sort of put it to one side as my wife and I sat down to watch the film, and I've got to be honest with you, I was totally surprised by this movie. It zigged where I thought it was going to zag, and I was not expecting where it ended up.
I think that's a compliment. Go on.
But before we get into it, Ken, I want to know how you got involved in this project.
A little over 4 years ago, I was about to board a plane to Ireland for another movie, and this script came across my desk. I immediately saw that it was such a fresh, unique path in for unpacking big ideas. I fell head over heels in love with it, and half prayed while I was in Ireland that it wouldn't get set up anywhere else, and was thrilled a year later to find it still available. And I got back, and I just set about linking arms with the writer-director and setting about finding the right team and making our way to Oxford, England to tell his story.
Now, this is a adaptation of a real-life story. When you see real-life story, you sort of go, I wonder how much of it is. So tell us a little bit about the story behind that.
Yeah, it is the true life story of Carolyn Weber, who went to Oxford thinking that the education she would obtain there would be her defense against all of life's hurts that she had encountered along the way. But she gets there and meets a boy. So there's a romance element. And he and a few other mentors in her life on the faculty and staff at Oxford, and this is Carolyn's true story, encouraged her, much like Tolkien did with Lewis 100 years ago, to consider that there's more to the story than just the knowledge we can cram into our cranium, that there's something beyond. And much like Lewis was surprised by joy, our character has an awakening. And so it's a wonderful 400-page memoir that Carolyn wrote, a beloved book. And the director, Ryan Whitaker, set about adapting it. And DJ, I'm just distilling that 400-page book down to an hour and a half script was a big undertaking. And I say that to say, for listeners who may have read the book, and it really has a robust following, the book, we think, captures the spirit, or the movie rather, captures the spirit of the book and the intent of the book. And Carolyn is so pleased with the film.
Oh, great.
And she's been such a joy to walk through this process with. We brought her over. She was on set with us. She has a small cameo in the film, and she's happy with it. It's like any book. There's going to be some things that people probably wish were in the movie, and we had to composite some characters and blend them together. But I do think we captured the spirit of the book.
I've never read the book, and I was slightly aware of her story from another interview I read years ago. But I've got to be honest, I spent the first half of this film going, oh my goodness, rolling my eyes, because our protagonist here is so unlikable in so many different ways. Now, I'm talking about me as a fella going, oh my goodness, she's getting everything served up to her. She's got all these privileges. She's like this. And we get introduced to the love interest, and I don't want to spoil anything, but he's a sincere Christian. He's someone who has a sincere belief, and I'm rooting for him and he's getting beaten down every step along the way. And then when things change, it happens in a way that surprised me so much that I was totally sucked in. Like when there's a moment where, the love interest hands our female lead, surprised by joy. And it's the meta part of the film. It's like, okay, I see the layers going on here. And I'm like, oh, don't do this. She's not worthy of a C.S. Lewis tie in here. What's going on? But I tell you, you guys pulled it off. I was in tears.
Wow.
When they, when it all builds up into it. I get choked up because it's such a believable moment.
Wow.
When they have it out about their faith and who they are. It's so good.
Yeah. Thank you. You know what, DJ, as storytellers at every turn, as Ryan and I were readying this film, the question was always, are we earning the right to get to that moment and all the pivotal moments, such as when he hands her Surprised by Joy and a few other things like that around and it was always throughout the movie, it was always a question of, is it truthful? Is it organic? Is it earned? And, Carolyn's story, it's why I fell in love with it when I read it. I just said, like I said a couple of minutes ago, a lot of scripts that aspire to accomplish what this film did come across my desk.
Yeah.
But this one just had a unique voice. I'm grateful to have been a part of it.
Ken, I can't think of a recent film that I've watched that comes underneath, and I know I don't want to say anything that sort of will make you sort of shrink back or anything, but that comes under the Christian banner, like the Christian movie banner. And I know there's people who are like, oh, that's awful, that's dreadful, or we love it, we hate it. There's a whole bunch of feelings when you tag that Christian tag onto a film. It can get a little bit, I don't know, people, get jaded straight away. But I can't think of a film that I would be totally comfortable as inviting a non-Christian person who's sincerely seeking the truth as this film, because it is subtle, but when it clobbers you, it is done with like the velvet glove. You know what I mean? It comes from a side and you are on board of the journey. Again, I cannot suggest it enough. If you've got a non-Christian person in your life that you want to share a little bit about what faith can mean and probably should mean, this is a great film to bring them to.
Well, DJ, that's whatever happens at the box office, you've paid me the biggest compliment imaginable. And thank you. It is such tricky terrain.
Oh.
Look, I always say it's hard enough to talk about faith in real life, much less in a movie with characters on the big screen. I have a lot of friends and colleagues in that faith film space, whatever we call it.
Yes.
And a lot of them are very earnest and well-intended in the forthrightness with which they present certain aspects of the gospel. It takes a little more courage to step into a terrain that's, allows audiences to draw some of their own conclusions. And I hope that's what this movie does. And to your point, in inviting somebody that's not a believer, hopefully the movie cues them up for a really meaningful exploration thereafter.
Oh, the conversations on the other side of this film are going to be rich. Now, it does walk the line where it's not a Christian film in a sense, because, there's characters in the film who are non-Christian characters, and our main protagonist is one of them. And believe it or not, they act and they talk and they live like non-Christians. And I love the fact that you're being so honest here about this woman's journey and setting it into a modern day scenario, because it rings true. It rings true. You're not trying to, make it all vanilla. You're not making it all, whatever. These uni students who are living like the world are living like the world. That's who they are.
Exactly. And hopefully we brought the right level of veracity and truthfulness to life on a uni campus. But and not in a way that's exploitive or gratuitous.
No.
None of it was done for those purposes.
Mm.
We're not trying to push the envelope for the sake of, making people uncomfortable. It was all about what's the wise way to do this in a way that really cues up the biggest impact.
Yeah. Well,
So, and you know what? It's everybody's going to have different opinions as to what's the right balance there. This is 1 hour-and-a-half story. Tries, and maybe we stubbed our toe here or there, but hopefully in the end, it is we accomplished what attracted me in the outset, which was just to find a fresh path in.
yeah. Oh, look, I think you totally have. I mean, congratulations, Ken. I think this is a beautiful film, both visually and story-wise. I think it's a beautiful film. I would call this film almost like invitational. Like, it's a great conversation starter, even to someone who is really, really gospel message or just sticking their toe into faith, because they're going to go on this journey and truth is going to come at them, in this film. And I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, thanks. As they say in Hollywood, from your lips to God's ears.
Hey, well, bless you, Ken. Thank you so much for your time. We'll put all the links out there, and we hope it goes fantastically at the box office.
Thanks very much, DJ. Blessings on you.